The story begins with a man named Ivan Petrov, or as some called him, the Forest Man. He had always loved the forest and everything in it. The trees, the rivers, the quiet sounds of nature, they felt like home. Hunting wasn't just a hobby for him, it was a skill passed down from his father, and before that, from his grandfather. His walls were full of trophies, antlers, pelts, and pictures of proud catches. Hunting ran through his veins, and he had always been proud of it. But in his youth, Ivan dreamed of a different life. After finishing school, he went to college to become a car mechanic. He wanted to fix cars, earn a steady income, and give his family a good life. For a while, it looked like his dream was coming true. He even started his own garage and worked hard every day, but life can be cruel. Soon, his wife became sick, and the medical bills kept growing. One by one, he sold his things to pay for her treatment. His dream was falling apart, but he cared more about his family than anything else. Without money, bills piled up, and worry filled his heart. Every job he tried to get paid too little to cover his son Maxim's school fees. He felt lost and unsure what to do. Then, he remembered his father's lessons in the forest. Hunting had once been a skill he loved, and now it was his only option. This time, it was not about pride or trophies. It was about survival, his wife, his son, and himself. Even though life in the forest would be hard and his wife could not live there, she told him he could do it. With no other choice, Ivan took up hunting again. He was determined to protect his family and do whatever it took to keep them safe. Now, Ivan's life felt like starting over, but this time he didn't have his father to guide him. The first months were the hardest. Ivan had grown up in the forest, learning its secrets and living off its gifts, but his wife and young son, Maxim, were used to city comforts. The forest was unforgiving, and every day demanded work. We even had to track animals, set traps, and hunt just to put food on the table. At first, it felt impossible. Nights were long, cold, and quiet, filled with worry. Slowly, however, his wife's health began to improve, and Ivan began to adjust to this harsh life. He remembered every lesson his father had taught him, every trick, every sound and sign that could mean life or danger. Hunting was no longer a game. It was survival itself. Even in struggle, the forest gave Ivan something precious: his son. Maxim began showing interest in the skills Ivan had mastered. Together they tracked footprints, noticed the smallest signs of animals, and listened to the birds. For a time, the forest became a place where father and son could bond, even in the midst of hardship. Ivan taught Maxim not just to survive, but to understand and respect the world around them. Those quiet moments together, walking through snow-covered trees or following a deer's tracks, brought a kind of peace neither of them had expected. But life is never simple. Ivan's wife, tired of the daily struggle, decided to leave. Even though Ivan did everything he could to make her happy, the constant hardships wore her down. She betrayed him, choosing her own comfort over the family they had built. She took Maxim with her to the city, leaving Ivan alone in the forest. Losing her hurt deeply, but losing time with his son hurt even more. The forest, once full of life and lessons, now felt emptier. Nights were the hardest as Ivan lay awake, thinking of Maxim and what his life might be without him. Ivan refused to let the distance break the bond with his son. He asked his wife to send Maxim for a week each month. Maxim always wanted to come, excited to spend time with his father. That 1 week became the most important time of Ivan's month. They walked in the forest together, tracking, noticing the birds, deer, and the smallest signs of life hidden under the snow. Ivan taught Maxim to be patient, to watch and listen, and to understand the rhythm of the forest. Each step strengthened their connection. and Ivan treasured these moments more than anything. One cold winter morning, after Maxim had returned to his mother in the city, Ivan decided to go hunting alone. He wanted to explore a trail he hadn't taken in years, a path leading to the far side of the village, across a small river, and into deeper woods. When he reached the river, he was relieved to see it frozen solid. But then, something unusual caught his eye. A large hole in the ice. Curious, he moved closer, careful with every step. Peering into the hole, he saw it. A wolf, half submerged in icy water. It had clearly been struggling for some time. Ice had begun forming around it. Ivan froze, unsure if it was alive. Its head rested on the ice, eyes closed, shaking gently. Slowly, it opened its eyes and looked at him. The wolf was weak and in pain. Ivan's first instinct was to walk away. Nature could be cruel, and maybe this was one of its harsh lessons. But then, a soft whine escaped the wolf's throat. It sounded almost human, pleading for help. That small sound pierced Ivan's heart. He acted immediately. Using all his strength, he grabbed the wolf by the scruff and pulled it out of the water. It was heavier than he expected, and the soaked fur made it harder to manage. After a tense struggle, he got it onto solid ground. For a moment, he stepped back, holding his gun, ready for any sudden move. But the wolf didn't resist. It was too weak, its breathing was shallow, and Ivan knew it wouldn't survive the night without care. Gently, Ivan approached, speaking softly so as not to frighten it. The wolf's ears twitched, but it made no move to escape. Realizing it trusted him, or at least did not fear him, he carried the wolf and decided to take the wolf in his house. Ivan built a small fire and laid the wolf near the warmth, draping a blanket over it and staying close. Hours passed, and gradually, the animal began to regain strength. When the wolf seemed alert enough, Ivan offered it water and some leftover meat. The wolf drank and ate hungrily, finishing every bite. Once it had eaten, it curled up by the fire, its body slowly relaxing as it drifted into a quiet sleep. Ivan watched it carefully, making sure it was truly safe. For the first time since finding it, he felt a small sense of relief. The creature that had called out for help now seemed to trust him. That night, the forest outside his home was silent, broken only by the occasional rustle of wind through the trees. The next morning, Ivan was awakened by soft scratching at the door. The wolf had recovered enough to move around and was eager to explore. Its eyes were fixed on the snow outside, alert and watchful. Ivan opened the door, and the wolf bolted into the forest, pausing for just a moment to look back at him. In that brief glance, Ivan felt a silent connection between them, a bond that needed no words. The wolf disappeared among the trees, leaving Ivan with a warmth in his heart he hadn't expected. Life slowly returned to normal. Ivan resumed his work as a mechanic while keeping his hunting skills alive, though now more for sport than survival. Weeks later, a phone call brought a wave of joy. Maxim was coming for his monthly visit. Ivan's heart leapt. He couldn't wait to share the forest with his son again. When Maxim arrived, the two quickly packed their gear and set off, eager to explore the snow-covered woods. Ivan decided to follow the trail he had taken alone weeks before, the one that had led him deep into the forest. The journey began peacefully. Maxim wandered, marveling at the snow-draped trees and the quiet beauty of the forest. Ivan watched him closely, proud of his curiosity and careful attention. Suddenly, Maxim froze. His eyes had caught a set of tracks in the snow. Excited, he ran forward, calling out that they might belong to a rabbit. Ivan allowed him to go a short distance, but kept a close watch. The forest could be unpredictable, and he knew that danger often hid where one least expected it. Then came a sharp crack, followed by a scream that made Ivan's blood run cold. His heart jumped into his throat, and he sprinted toward the sound, panic gripping him. As he reached the river, the scene froze him in place. Maxim was half submerged in the icy water, clinging desperately to the bank. Ivan's mind raced. He wanted to jump in, but the river's slippery edge made it dangerous. Then, as if from nowhere, the wolf he had rescued weeks ago appeared. It didn't growl or snap. Instead, it grabbed Maxim's jacket gently with its teeth and pulled him toward safety. With the wolf's help, Maxim scrambled out of the water and onto solid ground. Ivan's hands shook, tears stinging his eyes. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. The wolf paused, looked back at them, and then disappeared into the forest. In its eyes, Ivan saw understanding and gratitude. It had repaid his act of kindness in a way no words could capture. Ivan ran to his son, wrapping him in his coat and checking him carefully. Maxim shivered but was unharmed. Ivan felt a mixture of relief and awe, realizing how connected life, compassion, and survival truly were. The forest had taught him patience, respect, and the quiet rewards of kindness. As they walked back home, Ivan made a quiet promise to himself. He would never hunt wolves again. That creature had shown courage, loyalty, and intelligence beyond what he had imagined. It had saved his son's life, and he would honor that gift. Even if he never saw the wolf again, it would remain in his memory, a silent guardian of the forest and his family. In the days that followed, Ivan often thought about the forest, life, and the fragile bonds between humans and animals. Maxim's eyes sparkled as he recounted the events, telling Ivan over and over about the tracks in the snow, the cold river, and the wolf that had saved him. The forest now felt alive in a new way, full of stories, lessons, and unexpected heroes. Ivan realized he had taught his son more than survival skills. He had taught him respect, patience, and the true value of life. Years passed, and Ivan and Maxim continued their forest visits. Every trip was filled with laughter, learning, and quiet moments of observation. Yet, in Ivan's heart, the memory of the wolf remained the strongest. It reminded him that kindness could be repaid in ways no one expects, and that even in the harshest winters, hope and courage could survive. Though the wolf never returned, its spirit lived on in the forest, in the rustling of leaves, the crunch of snow, and the whisper of the wind.